The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown!
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Oh, Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Comes in, fires, deflected, no, rebound. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Fans Only Sports Network's live coverage of Division I hockey here in the state of Rhode Island. Tonight's matchup taking place here at the Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink here in Smithfield, Rhode Island, between the home LaSalle Academy Rams taking on the Moses Brown Quakers. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Chris Hitu, joined by Matt Jolis here in the press box here at Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink, here to talk about the matchup today between the Moses Brown Quakers and the LaSalle Rams. Matt, these two teams come in at opposite records. We see the LaSalle Rams at 2-0 on the season, while the Quakers are still looking to get that first win on the year, sitting at 0-2 so far.
Yeah, the Quakers are kind of an interesting situation. Lost a lot of really key players from last year's team that went to the semifinals. New coach as well, Frank Beatty, taking over the program. So they're still trying to maybe figure some things out, so to speak. It's early in the season. Anything can still happen. It's a long way to March. But, yeah, right now you're looking at two teams that are on the opposite sides of the table.
They really are, and it's really going to come down to a lot in terms of the division race, because right now for the LaSalle Rams, the division's wide open for them for the taking to take first place tonight. They can maintain a perfect record. The only team that had a perfect record so far was the Bishop Hendrick Hawks. They fell tonight to Warwick by a final score of 5-2. Brady Kudo and I believe it was
Owen Crane
were on the call. That was an incredible game. Warwick really shocking Division I right now. They are now tied for a three-way tie between the Bishop Hendrick Hawks and the Burrillville Broncos.
Yeah, and I said at the beginning of the season, I thought Warwick was my sneaky team. That team that has, Aiden McNally, Ryan Barlow, Cooper Groska, Braxton Bragg has been phenomenal in net, and they returned almost everybody off of their roster last year. Look, Moses Brown last year returned everyone off of their roster from a team that had one win this season before, went to the state semifinals last year. Warwick, one win last year, returns everybody off of the roster, and all of a sudden it's like, here's Warwick.
Here they are is definitely the good word for it. And we'll see if the Rams can do business, get it all done tonight, and hopefully for them, move to a better positioning in Division I here in the state of Rhode Island. But getting into the matchup tonight, we're going to allow the announcements to commence here for the Moses Brown Quakers as they announce their starting lineup. For the Quakers, they had a very good performance in the Burrillville tournament, finishing overall at 2-1 in that tournament. And I think one of the most entertaining games they put on was definitely against East Greenwich. They won that game 3-1, but then I gotta say a nail biter of a game was between Burrillville that ended a 2-1 shootout. And this team has really proven that they can play competitively against other teams and stay in games. So I mean, that's what we're going to need to see tonight, especially with Camden Luce here in the net.
Yeah, Cam Lucier has been really a bright spot for Moses Brown throughout, his whole entire time here. And especially I thought in the game against Prout, I thought he really actually kept Moses Brown in that game, an opportunity for them to be able to pick up a positive result. And, he's going to have to go up against a very, very difficult LaSalle side tonight.
And for LaSalle, I mean, you look at their starters, to me, we saw a lot of key stars last year. Connor Barrett, Ben Riccitelli, Dylan Johnson. Now, to me, I feel like we just see a committee group of hockey players that really get out on the floor. And for their goaltender, Georgian in net, really kind of taking the step up from Max Cute, who obviously has departed. That's a big shoe to fill, but he's really stepped in, has a .955 save percentage, and goals against average only 1 on the season so far.
Yeah, and that really is a big shoe to fill. You're
It
talking
is.
about Max Skute. So, but Jaharian's done a great job.
And now we'll take a moment to remember America for the playing of our national anthem. And as always, with that slap on the stick of the ice, that means we are all set and ready to go for the start of this one. Once again, between the LaSalle Academy Rams and the Moses Brown Quakers. But before we get into tonight's matchup, let's get the word from tonight's game sponsors.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Joseph Lammy, attorney at law, 696 Reservoir Avenue in Cranston, Rhode Island. Visit josephlammy.com, L-A-M-Y, Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And by RR Elite Recruits, with access to 3,000 schools, 80,000 coaches across 30 NCAA sports. For athletes looking to play at the next level, be seen by being a part of RREliteRecruits.com today.
And so, we are just moments away from the opening puck drop here, as both teams finish their discussions there up against the benches, and we are all set and ready to go. It's always a very classy way to start off, really giving a fist bump to your man in the net, because he's going to deal with a lot tonight. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of shots on goal from either side.
Yeah, I don't expect the shots on goal side to have a very small number to it.
No.
We might see a very defensive-laden game, which might end up being a small goal number, potentially. But we're going to see like 30, 40 shots on net.
We've hit center ice, and we're ready to go here from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink. And we are officially underway. Face-off going all the way back to Georgian. And it'll be taken around the backside board that time from the 5 of Devin Mora. Mora shepherding it through center with the feed that time to the 26 of Evan Barbosa. Trying a backhand try right in front of Luce here, and it'll deflect off the pads and come back to the near side board. Going back to center, and it's eventually scooped away by the 21 of Jack Travers. Ever poke checked away, and it'll be shepherded back to center. No, and it's poked back in by the Rams. And the Rams will dump it back in before they get skaters off the ice for a line change. Maxwell Travers, the leading pass to Aiden Agarwal, and it scoots into the LaSalle Rams zone and wraps around to the opposite side. Tyler Garfalo to the opposite way, and then eventually taken back it, and it'll come all the way down to the Quaker side as icing is the call on the floor.
Fast-paced start, only a minute into the game, and both sides really showing that there's going to be some physicality to this game as well, too. A lot of puck movement, a lot of board movement, too. Bodies hitting the boards, making the boards move.
And so after the icing, we'll face off on the LaSalle side of the ice. They take the puck away as Mora has the puck pushed against the board. As he sits there on the floor, the Quakers come up with the possession, ultimately dumped back in by Bethune, and then intercepted that time by the 20 of Tosca. At center, now across the blue line, trying to cut inside. This one a little wide to the right. They try another exchange there, bouncing off. Tasca with it again. This one rifled to the far right side. And at the point, brought back down that time by Barbosa, or excuse me, that's the 15 of Martinelli. Tasca trying to feed it in front for Bradley. Martinelli with the dump in. Tasca, that time over the Ronan Peterson. And the Quakers will take it back up through center. Mamdani with the dump in. And he'll skate back to the bench quickly as new skates come out for Moses Brown. Drew Bradley with the dump in here. And the Rams will follow suit with the line change. The Sally's Tasca ladies. It looks like he was trying to get it back, but here a good chance. A good shake off that time from Travers as he pushed Paul Bogosian off his mark. In the far corner. They'll clear it back at center ice before it's dumped back in. And we'll get a whistle called for an offsides. And we'll face off back at center.
Yeah, LaSalle, good ability to position themselves down deep in the Moses Brown zone. Paul Bogosian getting down to that end line on the backside boards. Moses Brown, good back-checking defense.
Taking the face off immediately is Jordan McIntyre, and Bogosian will give it off. And it's dumped, nope, comes back to center as Pacheco was struggling to dump it into the zone. In front of the Moses Brown bench. Bunch of checks going back and forth before it's eventually cleared and dumped in by Seth Feldman. And now a great lead for Pacheco. The shot bouncing off Lucier. A weak shot that time. And they'll try again. Natali giving it off that time once again to Blake Santos. At the point, rifled down before it's blocked that time. And they'll come back and try again. Garneau giving it off that time to the 12 of Owen O'Farrell. O'Farrell with the flip right at Jawarjian, and it's blocked. And poked back to center ice. And Michael Marabello called for an offsides that time. Another second time the Rams have been called for offsides.
Oh, when you're trying to press high and get down into that back line, you're going to end up with an issue of running a little bit too fast, and got to be careful with where the puck is versus where the body is.
Need to keep an eye on that location, but here, Tomka, and it's blocked away by Bethune, and now Mamdani with the dump in through center. And we get another whistle. It looks like it'll be icing. So we'll head back to the Quakers side of things. A lot of shots on goal so far, 5 for the Rams. However, still we're waiting for the Quakers to break in on the shot column. Just haven't really been able to establish once they reach the Rams side of the ice. And off the face-off win, the Rams hold the puck as Mora dumps it down. Over to the 9 of Mark Frateschi. And now it comes back to the near. Travers trying to fight with Tomka for it. And they'll come to the near as Mamdani struggling to find separation. Jack Travers trying to get in and help him out there. And it's eventually poked away and taken in. A chance into the slot, and Lucier with the glove save that time. A little bit of extracurriculars going on after the play as Michael Marabalo let that puck escape from him a little too much. He had a nice lane in the slot, just was unable to execute.
Yeah, I think Lucy are doing the smart thing there, just covering up the puck, just not allowing for LaSalle to get those second and third attempts.
Definitely the wise decision there.
Get a little too close to the face-off dot for the referee's comfort.
And off the draw. Flipped over to the near side, far side. Barbosa right behind the net. Baxter trying to catch it up to it as it's dumped away by Baxter. And O'Farrell struggling to keep the puck out of the Quaker zone. And eventually poke check back to center. Ethan Garneau coming up. Garneau trying to shadow around. And it'll go back into the Rams' possession. Back through center. Baxter. Matt Baxter flips it behind the back that time for Martinelli. Martinelli entering the slot a little high over the top of the net. He'll come back to the right. Garneau being poke checked a whole bunch that time as Baxter finds the puck again and sends it the opposite way. Travers to patrol back to center ice, flipping it off that time in the middle. Goes right at Georgian. It'll go down as the Quakers' first shot on goal, as Will Carosi dumped it right at him. Dumped back in as the Rams continue this exchange of back and forth of dump-ins. Sacralades laid off a bit too much. Bradley, shot deflecting off the defender, and another one comes down. Good positioning that time for Cole Wilson in front of the net. Sacralades, that's not where he wanted that puck to go, as it nearly set up another offensive opportunity. Bethune around the backside, and he gets it over to the 15 of Wilson. Back at center, Bradley to Bogosian. Bogosian trying to shepherd the puck across, and gets it right in front for Tosca. The shot poked away, and Sacralades struggling with the puck handling in these early minutes. And they'll try again as they come into the slot. And another one coming down. Tosca trying to redirect and find a hole, just being swarmed by a bunch of Quakers. And going off to the far side of Bogosian. Bogosian rifling one down a little wide to the left. Bethune wraps it around, and the 23, that time of Jordan McIntyre, dumps it back down. McIntyre giving it off to Bradley. Bradley, it seemed like a couple of the Rams didn't see the location of the puck, what he was trying to set up, and it will stay in the Quaker zone, however. Tosca flips another one down. Trying to navigate around is Peterson. Across to Bradley. Hard slap shot, but Bogosian hits the backboard. Bradley getting tripped up a little bit. Peterson flips it to Bradley, and Bradley trying to move the puck that time as McIntyre sends it back in, and the Quakers finally clear the puck. Great breakaway as Mamdani sends one down. Mamdani had plenty of breakaways, three breakaway goals actually in the Burrillville Holiday Classic. Was unable to execute there. Bogosian, as the puck poked, that shot a little high over the top from Gunnar London. And struggling to get it back to center ice, and eventually Blake Santos will get it up there. Robert Natali trying to feed it right in front to Pacheco, and it's blocked away. Dumped back in as the puck ricochets, and a whistle called as the net came off the moorings.
Yeah, Gabe Mamdani, I think, has probably the most famous breakaway goal, though, at Levy for Moses Brown last year, overtime in the playoffs in Game 3. And Mamdani gets a breakaway goal, scores it. Moses Brown wins that game, and obviously because it's Game 3 in overtime, won the series 2-1 and go out to the state semifinals.
And that's something that he's been able to show off, really. He's just very talented, where if he's one-on-one with the goaltender, he's going to find a way to punch it in. So the Rams definitely smart and shadowing him a little bit closely to the edge of that face-off circle. .7:21 to go in the first period. Still knotted up at 0-0. Rams have dominated possession in their offensive zone so far in these opening minutes. And the Quakers just struggling in all assets of the game so far. However, their defense and goaltending has been very rock solid. And it's dumped back in by Mora. No, it comes back to center as Garneau was pressuring a lot there. Peterson trying to redirect this puck. And going into the zone. It'll be poked back to center. Frateschi after it. That was Mark Frateschi earlier. And now giving it off that time to Natali. And now to the 22 of Blake Santos. Santos! Ooh, nearly snuck it right by as Lucier didn't see where the puck went. O'Farrell behind the back to the 8 of Garneau. And dangling right in front. That would have been a perfect chance for Pacheco. Unable to come up with it. O'Farrell brings it in, and it'll hit the protective netting and stop play with 6:20 to go in this first period of action.
Not sure I've seen too many periods where, yeah, there's still 6:20 left to go, but you have a 14-3 shot differential in the first period. I mean, the first half of a period, essentially, you have a 14-3 shot differential, but it's 0-0 that's really a testament to the back checking of Moses Brown on defense and Cam Lucier in net.
14 shots allowed on goal, but none allowed in the back of the net. Wrapping around the backside for Garfalo. Garfalo, it's poked by a Quaker, so no icing to be called. And the Quakers trying to get this puck out to prevent an offensive opportunity. And that time, the two of Vinny Healy to dump it in, and it's still cleared. Baxter trying to send it the opposite way. Franco trying to fight for it up against the boards. Garfalo winds up for a slap shot, and Lucier makes another tough save. He's been under duress for much of this evening, but Camden Lucier, he's proven why he's one of the top goaltenders in the state.
Yeah, I think Cam Lucier, regardless of what Moses Brown record looks like, his body of work, what he does is just phenomenal. I mean, it's hard to sit there and say he's one of the top goaltenders in the state when your team's 1-2 or whatever they might be at the end of the season. But sometimes you just got to look at individual body of work.
Garfalo sending it behind the net that time, trying to lead Baxter a bit, and we'll get another whistle to stop play. 5:39 to go. And looking back on the Quakers' season so far, they are 0-2 so far in league play. They've lost to Prout twice to open the season. In those games, they lost by a score of 5-2 and 4-1. And 3 goals for and only 6 goals against. That's a -6 differential. They're definitely looking to change that.
Yeah, the 4-1 game was actually, I thought was really odd because they actually scored the first goal in that game. They led 1-0 at the end of the first period and then surrendered 4 unanswered goals in the second and third, 2 in the second, 2 in the third.
It's very interesting. It's a team that can get hot offensively, and Garfalo missed a wide open opportunity. The whole right stick side of Lucier completely exposing the net, and then maybe just got a little too excited for that opening.
Yeah, see a big hole and you just want to jam the puck right through it, but that's it's like a soccer player seeing the spot kick and just skying it.
Obviously, we're talking 2 different sizes of nets. Garfalo coming down from the point, this one wide to the left. Now the 15 of Marciello Martinelli trying to keep it away. A good setup behind the net that time for Baxter. And another one rifled at Lucier, and coming down hard for it is the 27 of Garfalo. Wrapped around the backside as the Quakers try and clear. O'Farrell, a nice deke as he brings it up to center. The feed to Garneau. Garneau trying to get around Garfalo. Doing a good job of keeping the play alive, but this Rams defense, they're just so well coached, so well in sync with each other. They're able to clear it and bring it back up. And trying to set him up right in front, and the Quakers, just good defensive positioning so far. Baxter to Bogosian at the top. Bogosian with the slap shot, nearly banging through the 5-hole, but it bounces off of Lucier's pads to the far side. In the corner, they continue to fight. Barbosa gets it free to Bogosian. Bogosian that time down to Baxter. Baxter sends one in the whole right side open, as the 23 that time of McIntyre was a little too off. He couldn't come off his defensive mark. Mamdani trying to set up O'Farrell, bounces off at the post. Oh my goodness. Nearly breaking through on the scoreboard first, but a lucky break for Georgian in net. And they'll come back up to center. Dumped back down. And it'll be cleared back to center ice. McIntyre to Bogosian. Bogosian with the dump in. Lucier to stop the puck behind the net, and he lets it go, as that time Baxter tried to send it away. Back to Baxter. Baxter, it's stopped down at the line and dumped back in by Mora. Mora tried to get it that time to Bradley, and it comes back to center ice. Travers, and now taken away by Frateschi, who dumps it back in. Bradley, the first to make contact, and up against the near boards. Flipped away by Carosi. Baxter trying to get there, needs some help from Roosh. And on the far side backboards, Rams struggling to find an opening And the Quakers come up with it ultimately. Rush with the dump in. Line change coming for both sides. Mora cutting through center. Devin Mora sends one down and loose here. That was a very good shot, but able to be blocked at the last second that time by Lucier in that. Back to center. Mora trying to use the shiftiness to his advantage. And it's poked at the near side boards. And the Quakers will come up with it. O'Farrell crossing the blue line, trying to get the Quakers set up. A crosser was leading Feldman a little too much. He stopped at the point by Agarwal. And intercepted ultimately by Santos. Santos with the feed to Natali. Natali trying to cut back. Great play by the Quakers defensively as they get it back to center. Feldman to O'Farrell. O'Farrell in the zone. O'Farrell trying to get, he losing his feeding a little bit because he was a little tripped up there, but no call on the ice. Hard body check from Travers. And O'Farrell to Mamdani. Mamdani wide to the left that time on that shot. And coming back up, trying to bring it to center. And now Pacheco giving it off that time to Santos. Santos 3-on-1 as he needed some help that time. And at the top, Bradley sends one down, bouncing off the defender. And as the 15 of Martinelli finds it, they'll have to dump it back in to get back on side. Baxter over to Travers. Travers cutting it back to center. And no icing to be called as it's met by the 23 that time of McIntyre. Back at center ice, dumped back in by Travers. A hard hit that time from the 10 of Bowden Tomka. And trying to set up on the left side. There's no one there for the one-timer. Just about a minute to go, and we're still all knotted up at 0-0. It's been a very competitive game. Georgian lets the puck go free and stay on the floor. At center. Taken away by the 21 that time of Travers. Jack Travers trying to cut around Bogosian. Sacrilades would have been the man for the one-timer. And he whiffs on that try as Bogosian sends it in. Agarwal cuts it back to center. Rams will be the first to make the contact. Mora. Devin Mora poked away by Garneau. Garneau to box him out. O'Farrell in the perfect position, and Sacrilades was there too. Wow! Hard wrister. And the puck still in the LaSalle side of the ice. Trying to set up a score before we go to the end of the first. O'Farrell! Top shelf over the top of the net. Agarwal sends another one down, ultimately blocked. And Franco lets this one scamper all the way down. And we'll get an icing call with just 1 second remaining in this first period. Wow. That was a lot of talking for at least 2.5 minutes right there.
That was, I mean, in reality, that was about like 4 or 5 minutes straight
of
hockey play. These teams are playing technical hockey. You know, they're just outplaying each other. Look at this. Moses Brown is going to pull loose here with the faceoff down in the corner. They're going to go 6-on-5 for the 1.1. They're going to try to draw play this.
They're going to have to win the faceoff and take the shot immediately. O'Farrell to take it. Up against the 2 of Vinny Healy. And they're trying to just rearrange.
This is like a scatter play in soccer. This is like a corner kick.
It is. It's
Everybody's
definitely
lying to the side. Nobody on the opposite side. They're just going to try to kick this over and somebody take a shot.
It's going to take a lot. 1.1 seconds on the clock. And we have the face-off.
Onside kick.
And that will conclude the first period of action off that lackluster face-off. Your score knotted up at 0 apiece. And we'll take a quick break while these teams talk some things over, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment right here on Fans Only Sports Network. The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone. That is a touchdown.
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is...
And we are back here on Fans Only Sports Network from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink. LaSalle Rams taking on the Moses Brown Quakers. Score all knotted up at 0 apiece. Matt, we saw a lot of physicality for both teams in the start of the first period, but neither side could seem to put it together in terms of finding that opening.
Well, I think a lot of teams, both sides, a lot of players had some really great shot opportunities. We saw a goal attempt right off the post. I mean, could have been a goal 2 inches over, and that is. But the physicality is there. I think for Moses Brown, what I'm really impressed with is their defensive play.
Oh, yeah. We've just seen a lot of congestion in those defensive zones, and especially in that slot. It's caused a lot of problems for these Rams in the early going. And it will be the Quakers to get things starting off. Garneau, a lazy shot that'll go behind the net. Mora trying to find a way to get it out of there. Feldman right in front, and the puck scampered past him. And now taking it up ice is Barbosa before it's poked back through center. And Mora will take it on the Rams side of things. Tried to lead Barbosa a little too much, and here come the Quakers. Tripped up, we're going to get a penalty potentially. No arm up. Very interesting, no call. Taking it across, Baxter. Baxter sends one right off loose here. O'Farrell flipping it back to center ice. Now being taken up by the 15 of Martinelli and then dumped forward by Garfalo. Trying to set up is Baxter to Bradley. Bradley knocked to the floor by the 7 of Aiden Agarwal, and now O'Farrell cutting through center ice. Owen O'Farrell trying to set up. He'll go off to the left as Garneau was a little too far behind to make a play. And now the dump off here for Tosca. Cameron Tosca rifles one, bouncing off of loose here. And it'll be taken away by Peterson, poking it a whole bunch. Peterson let the puck lead a little too far ahead, but Garfalo will help him out, sending one down lazily, and Tosca nearly trying to poke it in. Tosca on the backside of the net. Being very physical that time is the 10 of Justin Baxter. Back at center. Huge breakaway try coming for the 18 of Will Carosi. And Jawarjian does not blink. He makes a great save right there, glove side.
We've seen that alleyway open up a couple of times for Moses Brown. Able to get down that side, but Caleb Jawarian. I mean, what do you say about this kid?
There's not much in terms of criticism. He's really played an unbelievable start to the opening of this season. Really stepping in well for Max Cute, who has departed the team since. Up to center, Natali trying to find an opening. Natali, it's poked a whole bunch as Mamdani takes it away. Gabe Mamdani boxed out that time by the 23 of Jordan McIntyre. Mamdani trying to poke the puck in play, and now it'll be taken up by Blake Santos. Natali that time over to the 18 of Pacheco. Pacheco trying to lead it in front there for Santos, and Lucier again with a great save. Another one coming down, deflecting off as McIntyre send one. A good setup for Natali, and Lucier nearly lost control of that one, but he's able to glove it down cleanly.
The speed of this game is something that also needs to be remarked about. We're just going so fast. The ability for the defense to be able to get back on play, offense to make sure the passes aren't too leading, and Cam Lucier and Caleb Jaharian both to be able to see through all the traffic. Both teams are crashing the net really well.
Off the face-off. Rams trying to come away with it. That shot from Healy bouncing off the near post. And Mora sending one down around the backside of the net for Baxter to make first contact. Travers all over him as his stick's knocked to the floor. Sending one down was Frateschi, and it's knocked away. Baxter. O'Farrell trying to bring it away. Healy trying to come up with it, and Garneau flips it back to center. Jack Travers trying to get a hold of it before it's dumped in by Frateschi one more time. Loose here with the stop behind the net. And nice box out, but unable to come up with it as Barbosa continuing to fight for this one. He gets it back to Mora somehow. And another one from Frateschi, and it's blocked away. And poked up by O'Farrell. O'Farrell only has one man to beat. It's Mora trying to get it between the skates. The defense of the Rams has just been rock solid as well. And Mora cross ice leading, or excuse me, that was Healy. And no icing to be called. The feed all the way across, trying to set up Feldman. Gets it behind the back of Carosi, and that one coming down hard from Travers. And a save by Georgian. 11:17 to go in the second period of action. We're still knotted up at one apiece. As we get a face-off down in the near zone. Quakers get the face-off win, and before Carosi can make a play, Martinelli coming in hard. Garfalo behind the net. Wraps it around for Drew Bradley. Bradley letting Peterson take it instead. Leading a man a little too much. And the Rams ultimately give the puck up. Feldman sends it up to Carosi at center. Carosi cutting back, giving it off to the 6 of Aiden Rush. Rush being pressured a whole lot by Martinelli. And they'll come back up. Getting tripped up. We got a delayed penalty called. And it's going to go. Still waiting for the exact culprit. And it's going to be the 6 of Aiden Rush. And he's going to get a high stick call, it appears.
Yeah, I got that stick a little bit too high, made contact with the face shield of one of those Salle players, and so you end up with that high stick to the face. It looks like
it's been a very disciplined game so far, but we get our first penalty of the evening.
And a Moses Brown player injured in this situation too. There's a trainer going over on the Moses Brown side.
And it looks like it might be the 7 of Aiden Agarwal. And that's a huge loss for this Quakers unit if he cannot get back out on the ice. So put 2 minutes on the board in favor of the LaSalle Rams. They'll go on the power play. Off the face-off. On the far side corner. Rams with the possession of the puck. Feeding it to Martinelli. Martinelli to the top of the zone to Frateschi. Now to the 27 of Garfalo. Martinelli trying to set it up in the slot for Bradley. And this one deflected away by the defense. Bradley to Garfalo. Tyler Garfalo back to Drew Bradley. Bradley sends one, and Peterson trying to come away with it as Travers is all over him. Or that was Bethune, excuse me, for Tessie. Whoa, a rocket coming down. And it deflects off the backboards. Back on the near side. Being pushed around a whole bunch, but the Rams keep it in the zone. For Tessie, back of the net! Score! Drew Bradley with the credit. But it was the 9 of Mort Prateschi to send that missile down. And Drew Bradley puts the Rams up first with the power play goal.
Yeah, you know, you have that advantage, so spread the ice open a little bit more. Bradley and Frateschi were playing pitch and catch in the backyard, and one of them was going to fire a rocket that eventually was going to end up in the backside of the net. And
So after the first period, we were unsure of who's going to break through on the scoreboard first, but the Rams are the first to do it, and they take a 1-0 lead with 9:49 left to go here in the second period. And we'll face off back at center. And a late whistle to stop this face-off momentarily. Looks like they're going to just check on the moorings here. Guess it appears to be all right. Referee used his best judgment there, shaking it twice, and we'll come back to center. Quakers come up with the face-off as they look to answer back. But the Rams have other ideas. Here they come once again. That shot going to hit the protective netting and out of play. Well, we got a moment of downtime. Let's get a word from tonight's game sponsors.
Today's game is brought to you by Joseph Lamy, attorney at law, 696 Reservoir Avenue in Cranston, Rhode Island. Visit josephLamy.com for more information. And by RR Elite Recruits with access to 3,000 schools, 80,000 coaches across 30 NCAA sports. For athletes looking to play at the next level, be seen by being a part of RREliteRecruits.com.
Back into the action as the Rams look to strike back and add another one. They keep it in this zone. On the far side, this one bouncing off the protective netting as McIntyre knocks the puck to the opposite angle. Franco trying to find the opening, and the puck lazily skated across as Tomka couldn't come up with it. Another one coming down from McIntyre. And it'll be poked back to center. Garneau. Ethan Garneau coming back to the near side boards. It's poked away by McIntyre, but it's still in front of Garneau. And we get a delayed penalty. And it looks like it's going to go against Jordan McIntyre. No. So that's going to be the 23 of Jordan McIntyre heading to the box. And now after the Quakers just gave up a power play goal, it appears, no, they're also going to send a man to the box. It's going to be the 8 of Ethan Garneau. And we'll face off with even players. It must have just been for those extracurriculars. And now we'll face off down ice. Rams come up with the face-off win. This was a team last year that was undefeated throughout the regular season. They've only lost one game this year. Well, 2 games this year that were non-league games, but one of them was this week on Wednesday. They faced off against Bishop Hendricken. Final score in that game was 3-2. Loose here to glove this one out of the air with the save, as that was a nice wrister from Blake Santos.
Yeah, you know, those non-league games like the Ed Walsh Cup, sure, you want the bragging rights in that game of being able to say, hey, we beat Hendricken. It was 3-2 in overtime, so, I mean, it was certainly a good game. But LaSalle, I think, is more worried about what happens in March.
Absolutely. That's all it comes down to at the end of the game. 2 goals scored by Nick Regine to win the game. He even sunk in the game-winning overtime for the Hawks. So the Rams, that's their arch rival. That's something they're not going to forget for the rest of the season. The next time they'll face off, it'll be right here in Smithfield. Feldman sending one down to Georgian, and he's just going to glove that one up and stop play. And if you look at the shot differential, they're a whopping 37 for the LaSalle Academy Rams and 16 so far for the Moses Brown Quakers. Quakers, if they want to find themselves back in it, they're going to have to take more chances in the zone. And we'll face off down in the LaSalle side of the ice. Off the face-off for Teshi. Bringing it back up to center ice. O'Farrell in front of him in the neutral zone as Ferteshi skates past him to dump it in. trying to let the offense get set on the far side corner. Trying to find the opening, and Lucier somehow stopped that one. Frateschi trying to send another one down off the pads of Lucier. Barbosa trying to feed it off as Baxter will flip it to the opposite way, and O'Farrell clears it back to center ice. Frateschi the first to make contact as the Quakers get a line change. 7.5 to go. And we're seeing a LaSalle 1-0 lead as we're about to reach the second period intermission. Martinelli up the center to Bradley. Bradley being shoved around that time by Carosi, but a good chance for Peterson. Another great save in net. Now in the far side corner.
40th shot on goal of the game for LaSalle.
And we get a whistle to stop play with the save. 7 solid minutes to go. And the Rams lead at 1-0. Chance for them to overtake the top seed in the division. And last year, this was a team that did not lose in league play until it came down to brass tacks in the postseason as the Bishop Hendrick and Hawks swept them. And they look to come up with a different result this year. Martinelli, that shot over the top of the net. Peterson trying to wrap the puck around, and it's poked back to center ice that time by the 21 of Jack Travers. Martinelli skating back in retreat, and he'll pass it up forward, intercepted. Travers sending one down at Jawarjian. It's blocked away. Travers and Jawarjian wisely puts the glove down, stops play, 6:33 remaining.
A little bit of an errant pass in the back zone there for LaSalle. And against this Moses team, because they're such fast skaters, you want to make sure you don't end up losing the puck in your own zone. Could turn out dangerous.
Absolutely. And we'll face off once again in the LaSalle side of the ice. Off the face-off. Poked away. O'Farrell trying to lead it into the slot, backhanded to the near corner. And the puck scampering back to center, dumped in by Jack Maxwell Travers. Bogosian off the backhand of the stick. Franco coming up at center. Matt Franco trying to lead a man, and he keeps it too close to the chin. O'Farrell flipping it up for Mamdani at center. Gabe Mamdani getting it poked back a whole bunch as it's sent back by Jordan McIntyre. But some separation. O'Farrell slid the puck in between. Garneau couldn't find the separation. Tomka with the dump in. Lucier to poke the puck away. Natali tried to wrap it around the back door, and we'll get a stoppage of play as the net came off the moorings.
Good opportunity there for the Rams. I think Natali thought he wanted to get a penalty called against Moses Brown for getting taken down from behind. Trying to go tight wrap around Lucier, just able to get his pad right against the post, close off any opportunity.
Just about 5.5 to go, and the Rams still lead it in this one, 1-0. Off the face-off, Frateschi. Bounced off of Feldman, or Travers in this case. And Frateschi lets this one escape back to center. Mora with the pass up to Natali. Santos was getting a little too close to the sun that time, and Natali has to get reset. And ultimately, great defensive effort. No penalties to be called as Garneau takes it through center. A nice deke, but it's ultimately poked away by Santos. O'Farrell to make up for it. O'Farrell sends one off of Jawarjian off to the left. Garneau, another one off the defense. Mora to the backside. And nearly a chance right in front. Santos taking it up center ice. And offsides, as the 18 of Connor Pacheco shadowed across the blue line a little too early.
Yeah, they're trying to break that back check of Moses Brown. Got to be careful of where the puck is. jokingly, no VAR in hockey.
And we'll face off back in neutral ground.
If you're offside, you're offside.
Yeah, if you're offside, you're offside. There's no arguing it. And that time it was very obvious. Travers is trying to get it up to Rush, but it's dumped in from Garfalo. Bethune behind the net. Kyle Bethune. Through that time for Rush, and back at center, Carosi let the puck escape him as Garfalo. It bounced off the skates, and now Barbosa. Evan Barbosa that time, up to Baxter. Matt Baxter with the dump in. Loose here behind the back. Barbosa coming up with it as the interception came into play, and getting some help from Baxter once again. Travers with the pokes. Carosi and Healy trying to get in on it. And Carosi poking away, but Healy trying to lead it in front for Barbosa. Barbosa off to the near side. That time, Martinelli. Martinelli to Garfalo. Garfalo with the lane. It bounced off of Lucier's glove, and Lucier has to lie down on his back as the puck nearly lazily slipped across the goal line. Wow. Great save.
That was an insane sequence right there. And how in the world, not only the Moses Brown defense being able to box some people out, Cam Lucier and all that traffic being able to see where the puck was, get himself flipped over so that he could be able to lay down on top of it in the blue paint.
Shot differential now at 45-19. And I thought we would see 50 by the third, but we're still in the second, and the Rams are just adding it on. But give Lucier credit. He's only allowed one of those shots in.
I thought we were going to maybe see 50 shots in the game.
I thought my thoughts exactly. Tosca giving it off to Bradley at the top. That time for McIntyre. One coming down from Bradley, bouncing off the stick side. Bradley with the goal in the game already. On the backside boards, and the Quakers trying to maneuver this puck out. Travers unable to shepherd it through. Bradley back up to Bogosian. Slap shot that bounces off of Bradley. And Peterson trying to lead it in front that time for Tosca. And it'll come back to the near side. 3 minutes to go in the second period. And the Rams lead it 1-0. Bogosian sends one down. Bouncing off of O'Farrell in the slot. O'Farrell trying to poke it away, and Bradley comes up with it again for the Rams. McIntyre bounced off of Garneau's skates. Back to the near side. Bogosian and Travers battling for it. Peterson back down that time to Bogosian. Wrap to Bradley. Bradley across ice. McIntyre rifles one down through the 5-hole. Jordan McIntyre, an absolute missile. And just like that, it becomes 2-0 Rams.
Cam Lucier doesn't usually have a big 5-hole, but for some reason I think he was shifting. He opened up his pad a little bit too much, and then that one snuck underneath his stick in between the pad, because that seemed like a very awkward goal that Lucier does not give up those goals that are right in front of him. He got caught in the shift with all the play happening in the corner coming back the opposite direction.
That time the Rams caught him sleeping just a little bit. And the Quakers, now the deficit is a little bit larger than what they first encountered. And this puck in the far corner, not exactly in the spot that the Quakers want it to be. The Rams in this period have really started to put their pedal down on the floor and not letting off the gas. Mora, it's poked in as Garneau went flying. Mamdani trying to get it set. No extension as the defense was right there. At the top, Bethune over to Travers. Travers sending one down, and Jawarjian, even with all that coverage in front of him, still manages to make a save. In the far corner, Ferteshi wraps it around back to the near. Baxter in some trouble, and he gets it away. Ferteshi back the other way. This one bouncing off of Jawarjian, trying to find a back door for Mamdani, and Mora comes up with it for the Rams. Kick back to center and poke back in. Oh, a hard push. Referees are just letting these players play so far. Barbosa lets it go. Baxter and Bethune, and now Travers coming in as both players collide on the far side boards. And Barbosa off to Garfalo. Garfalo with the nice feed to the 17 of Baxter. Chance right in front. Lucier was on backpedaling nearly into the goal. Garfalo to Martinelli. Martinelli to Garfalo. Garfalo right through the 5-hole. Second time it's happened tonight.
He's getting caught on that shift. Anytime the play's on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, and it immediately switches across, he's got a shift. He's opening his legs a little too much. It's letting that space become visible to the Rams. They're getting that same time. That goal was literally same spot on the opposite side of the ice as they did it over on the bench side. They did it on the near side boards to us. Same spot, same angle, getting him on that shift.
And the Rams, they've got themselves a very talented defensive shooters. Tyler Garfalo, the 27 of him, will sink the third goal of the night for the Rams. They have scored 3 unanswered in this period alone.
50 shots.
And now that was the 50th shot on net by the Rams as well. Bradley trying to lead another one in front for the 51st. Garfalo trying to get another, and it's blocked away by the defense. Back at center, Garfalo flipping it off to the 15 that time of Marcelo Martinelli, and back to the far side.
Yeah, if you told me we'd see 74 shots in 2 periods.
It's just unheard of almost. Bradley cutting across center. Bradley sends one through, and another one chance as Lucier couldn't bring the glove in. Martinelli, one last chance before the end of the period. And they'll try again! In the back! Is it good? The buzzer, no good.
No good.
Just before the whole left side was exposed.
No. Yeah, the referee immediately signaled that one. Referee immediately signaled that one. The buzzer was off. Everybody, I think, was screaming a little bit too much. The players couldn't hear it. Referee immediately signaled no goal. No, not even a discussion about it.
Regardless of the no good goal, we hit the second period intermission score, 3-0. Rams lead the Quakers here in a very, very high scoring in terms of shots on net. And we will take the break, and we'll be back with you in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. Here on Fans Only Sports Network from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink, the Rams lead the Quakers 3-0. We'll be right back. And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
Ball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score! right kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, Deflected, no! Rebound! Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Oh, Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to right the conclusion here on this third period of action. The LaSalle Rams leading the Moses Brown Quakers 3-0, and the Rams take the face-off win right in front of the near side boards and dump back up the center. Skating right towards Jawarjian, who will scamper past him, and icing will be the initial call on the floor. Back from the break, and of course, we left the first period scratching our heads being like, this game could be a close one. But ever since then, the second period, the Rams continued their dominance in their offensive zone, scored 3 unanswered goals, and they lead big in this one.
Yeah, I think they want to claim their top spot in the division, top spot in the Fans Only Sports Network power rankings when they come out on Monday.
And we
Still
definitely
shaking my head at the Hendrick and Warwick score.
I know, it's shocking. But it proves nobody's safe. Tosca, the puck blocked right in front. And this one going to wrap around the backside. And cutting back up through center. And we'll get an icing call. But yeah, it definitely proves once again that nobody's truly safe. But even last season, Bishop Hendricken had a few questionable losses, but ultimately ended up sweeping every team they faced to go and take the state title.
Yeah, and I think, we talk about sneaky teams all the time, and last year Moses Brown was a sneaky team, EG maybe a little bit, as well too. I think, this year I said Warwick was going to be a sneaky team. I think Cumberland is really much more improved than they were last year as well.
I think we just see on Cumberland a lot of tall skaters. Good chance, though, back in this one. Ethan Garneau one-on-one with Jawarjian. And Jawarjian does not blink. He stands tall to the cause. Barbosa with the feed back to center to Baxter. Baxter taking it across the blue line, trying to get a shot on net of his own. Bethune there making a great defensive effort to prevent that from occurring. Barbosa stops the puck down with the skates. Healy behind the back. Back to Healy from Frateshi. Frateshi, it's poked away from O'Farrell and Bogosian. We'll have to dump this one back in. Rams will quickly retreat to the bench, and new skates will come on board. On the far side corner. At the top of the zone that time for McIntyre. And it will cut to the backside boards. Barbosa was the intended target, and Mamdani taking the puck away. It looked like Quakers fans were hoping for a hook, and we'll finally get a whistle. And it's going to go against Barbosa for a hook.
Yeah, there were a couple of times where I thought the referees could have potentially called some interference calls against LaSalle with some of the hits that they made on the boards late in the second period. It's going to eventually catch up to them. That one was a little bit blatantly obvious. And the referee put his arm up right away.
But on that point on the Clippers we were making earlier, something that I've noticed is those players, they've got tall skaters, but not even to mention that. They've got the speed. They've got all of that. And then when they get into the zone, you can see the sequence and just how in sync they are with one another. We're seeing a lot more maturity from this team this season.
Yeah, crazy thing is LaSalle was supposed to play Cumberland tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. They postponed that game to later on in the season, but so we could have ended up having LaSalle Cumberland tomorrow and really been able to have a conversation on Monday about where the top 4 teams in the division stand. We're gonna have to hold off on that one for a little bit.
Definitely, and that'll be one to remember. It should be a very entertaining one, potentially a high-scoring one, icing the call on the floor. And definitely the player that I have to say that has really kind of surprised me is the 14 of Christian Oliveira for the Clippers. He had 4 goals and a huge win over the Burrillville Broncos in the Christmas tournament. A hat trick in less than 5 minutes, which was the most bizarre thing in the world. Off the faceoff, Bogosian really has to scamper all the way across the blue line and get back set on side as the Quakers hit the power play. Interesting fact for both teams so far in terms of scoring on the power play, they're 25%. However, that percentage has increased for the Rams as they already have a power play goal tonight. Rams effectively clear the puck again, and something that's different this season is last season the Rams were a team that would have preferred to go on the PK, that one of the most highest scoring penalty killing unit in the state last season. At center, Bradley, maybe this will be a chance here. Drew Bradley right off of Lucier. He stands tall. Whoa, big hit in the back corner. But both skaters appear to be all right. Delayed penalty going to come without a doubt. Garneau set up. This one's going to go against LaSalle. And it's no longer Lucier in net this period. It's actually the one of Devin Maloney taking the net for Camden Lucier. Opting to bench him after surrendering 3 goals in 1 period. So 41 seconds remain on the power play, an extra 2 minutes on the board against LaSalle, and we get a timeout. Moses Brown going to talk things over, and we'll let them talk things over. We'll be right back in just a moment, right here on Fans Only Sports Network. Your score 3-0.
Game On mouthguards. Game On mouthguards have superior shock absorbency, are impervious to viruses and bacteria, and also is the only mouthpiece ever to earn the American Dental Association's seal of acceptance.
And welcome back to Fans Only Sports Network, here from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink. Moses Brown about to go on the power play once again, but it's just increased from a power play to a 5-on-3 opportunity for the next 41 seconds. Rams have been pretty solid so far all day as they put 3 goals up in the second period.
So take a look forward to the schedule coming up, and we'll look at Friday night. So we'll go from Friday to next Friday. Moses Brown, Cumberland at Brown University. That's going to be an interesting one. Here's a ticket I want. Just sit me down in Thayer Arena. Listen to this one. 7:15 p.m., Warwick LaSalle. 9 p.m., Hendrick and EG.
Oh,
give me a ticket. Sit me down in Thayer. That is a doubleheader I want to watch next Friday night.
3 really good games on the ticker. And, of course, if you want to check out those games, you can go to fansonlysports.com and purchase your live stream passes there. Set up shot, right in front, opportunity, score! Ethan Garneau finds the exposure on that left-hand side, and the Quakers break back into the scoreboard. They break in for the first time today. Score now 3-1.
Bounce, 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 ye shall find, and the puck just came right out there. They got Joharian to draw this time. Had a wide open backside, and he just stuffed it home.
So that deletes the first penalty against the Rams. It'll still keep the second one intact. And we go back to 5-on-4 hockey as the referees are just going to set up shop with the scorekeeper, and there we go. 127 left on penalties against
Right, they
LaSalle.
accidentally cleared both of the penalties off the board. They needed to just make sure they got that other one back in. So Bradley will stay in for another minute 27. And we'll have 5-on-4.
127 left in penalties, 11:36 left in regulation. Score sits at 3-1. And we're still kind of talking things over with the men in between the glass over there. Not really sure what there is to discuss. They get the point up. And it looks like an official's actually going to have to go back there and help them out.
Or they're trying to talk through the glass and he can't exactly clearly hear them. I don't think their scorer's box has the hole cut out in the center of it that the officials talk through. I think it's just actually a straight pane of plexiglass. So maybe they try to talk through that glass, but sometimes it can't be clearly heard. So then they're going to go and have the discussion like actually in the box.
And both teams taking full advantage of this official timeout and talk things over on their sidelines, respectively. And the referees give us the signal we're good to go. And now we're missing the penalty again up on the board. So we're still waiting for everything to truly get sorted out. And there we go. 1:47 is the official time left on the penalty. The Rams were unable to kill them off, but can they kill off this one? They've allowed one goal to be scored under the power play. O'Farrell takes the face-off for the Quakers. The lead to Carosi. It's bounced off the stick that time to the 10 of Baxter. At the point. Sending one down is O'Farrell. This scampers off to the right side. Travers trying to maneuver. Gets it to Carosi. Carosi to O'Farrell. Slap shot. Hits the top of the ceiling. And that'll stop play. And we'll face off on the far right corner. And Quakers off the face-off win. O'Farrell at the point. Shuffles it across to Carosi. Carosi from Garneau. That shot couldn't find enough extension, and that was a great defensive effort from the two of Vinny Healy. And the Rams get to kill off some of this penalty for just a few seconds. Under a minute to go on the power play. And the Rams being pesky. Ronan Peterson. That was good defensive effort, but we're going to get a penalty. That's going to go against, it appears, the 21 of the Quakers. That's Jack Travers heading to the box. So the Quakers had the man advantage, and now we'll even it up at 4.
Yeah, that penalty call for me is a little sus, though. That's two players going for a puck in the open space. I mean, if you turn around, you're going to find yourself ending up getting wrapped in the other player's stick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was intentional by Travers. I think he was trying to go for the puck around the backside and just got the body of the LaSalle player wrapped up. And it was a little bit of a weak call for me.
Proteshi over to Mora, and it'll scamper off to the left side. Baxter trying to navigate back to center. Baxter behind the back to Mora. Mora that time to Proteshi, sending one down, deflecting off of O'Farrell. Only 30 seconds for the LaSalle penalty, and then the Rams will go on the power play. Proteshi hits the top of the glass. Back on the near side, Bethune gets outskated that time by Peterson. Proteshi kicking it down for Baxter. And some trouble there for Travers, trying to feed it right in front, and Maloney makes the save. 10 solid minutes left to go in the third period. While we're at it, let's get a word from tonight's game sponsors.
Today's game is brought to you by Joseph Lamy, Attorney at Law, 696 Reservoir Avenue in Cranston, Rhode Island. Visit Joseph Lamy, LAMY.com, and by RR Elite Recruits with access to 3,000 schools, 80,000 coaches across 30 NCAA sports. For athletes looking to play at the next level, be seen by being a part of RREliteRecruits.com.
And the face-off in the left side corner. Quakers trying to come away with it, as Tosca's trying to play a very strong game there. Gets it off to Garfalu. Back down to Tosca. Penalty expires. Rams back at full strength for the next minute and 5 seconds. Tosca gloved away by Maloney. 1:04 left on the power play.
Rams approaching 60 shots on goal in the game. Total, we got essentially 87, 88.
It's a good thing you did that, because I suck at math, so there's that. I need a calculator, man. It's tough. It's tough being me. On the floor, Proteshi off the face-off win. Proteshi fakes the wind-up, gives it off to Garfalo, and Bradley couldn't gain the extension. A huge gasp from the crowd as the Quakers clear it. Under a minute to go on the power play. Fratteschi feeding it back up, leading Martinelli a bit too much, and Maloney, he'll just glove the puck down and stop play. 41 seconds to go on the power play.
I'm still... That Friday schedule is going to be nuts.
I know. We're definitely going to be very busy here.
Crazy games on Friday. You also got Burville Barrington.
And off the face-off to the top to Fratteschi. Fratteschi back down to Garfalo. Across that time to Martinelli. Fratteschi down to Garfalo. Back across. A great pass to Martinelli. And not enough Rams set up in that far right corner or the near right corner to take a chance. Garfalo behind the net to Peterson, and it's poked away back through center. And Georgian will give it off to Fratteschi, who has just about 10 seconds to go on the penalty. Mark Fratteschi leading Garfalo. Garfalo in the zone. Takes the shot of Maloney as the penalty expires, and it's kicked back up. Fratteschi dumping it back in, sending it down for Bradley. Bradley trying to navigate. Bradley, a nice feed in between the wickets to Garfalo. Garfalo right off of Maloney's chest and off to the left. Fratteschi getting a little tripped up there. The play continues. Garfalo deflected off the pads, and now Gabe Mamdani has a good setup. The feed there, and just a little too far for the 21 at Travers. No penalties to be called as both players got tangled up in each other. Really leading Vinny Healy here. He's in trouble, though. He's all by himself. Across the board that time for McIntyre. Going behind the net. Stick went flying on the play, and it'll come back to the near.
Yard sale. So they call it in lacrosse when you undercheck somebody like that, the stick goes flying up. They call it a yard sale.
Carosi, over to Baxter. And under the stick of Bethune, giving it to Will Carosi. Bounces off McIntyre into the zone, and it'll wrap around back to the near side boards. Good lead, Vinny Healy, one-on-one opportunity on Maloney. Left corner, shot, score. Rams increase the lead back to 4-1. Wow. Just a wide open lane. The Quakers defense was completely exposed, and Vinny Healy does the tall task and a nice backhanded shot.
Yeah, Quakers got stuck a little bit for a second because Justin Baxter was going off the bench injured. He was trying to get off the ice because he was injured, and they got a little stuck, and that ended up in a bad situation for Moses Brown. They were trying to get the change, and they kind of got stuck a little bit behind, missing a player.
And it's very unfortunate because obviously you couldn't have a healthy defensive player come into the affair until that skater got off the floor. And our LaSalle trainer is going to head over there and take a look.
Yeah, Frank Feeney was yelling out at the referee, and I think he was yelling at the fact that the play was not stopped because his player was down behind the play, and they essentially went shorthanded because the play was not stopped. Baxter was laying on the ice.
It's definitely unfortunate. We hope he will be able to come back into the contest. Rams, however, another scoring opportunity, and it's blocked ultimately by Maloney as Michael Marabello nearly got himself up on the board. Marabello will find the puck again, and the dump off to Bowden Tomka. And we'll get in a whistle call, play dead for icing.
Yeah, Moses Brown is already down one player as well because the 7 of Agarwal went off earlier in the game, and he went to the locker room, hasn't come back yet. So they've been without him as well, and now you lose Justin Baxter. You're down 2 very key players to your midline, and that's going to be very tricky for Moses Brown in the rest of this game.
It certainly will be, and the Rams have made sure of that. Natali, a bit of a lead, but he'll bring it back in. Natali has a chance. The shot! Oh, nearly a chance for Santos to get on the board, but the Rams keep possession. Nope, never mind. Quakers say, give me that. Here comes Mamdani, and Feldman lagging too far behind that blue line for that pass, and we get an offsides.
It was interesting, though, to it being said, and they talk about how injuries change the dynamic of a game. This game was 1-0. Agarwal goes out. All of a sudden, this game opens up 2-0, 3-0. Baxter goes out. All of a sudden, it's 4-1. You know, so that shows you how key those players are.
Exactly. Those players just have been very key in terms of last season, too, in terms of how far this team made it. And, of course, they want to replicate that type of production once again this year. O'Farrell has the puck poked away a whole bunch from Pacheco. Natali trying to scamper down after it with Feldman on his back. Travers trying to get in there, along with Santos. O'Farrell trying to shadow it too. Ooh, a hard check on Santos. O'Farrell just bullying through all these defenders. Travers that was, in fact. And it's dumped into the zone before it comes back to center. Santos through center ice. Cuts back inside off a D. Cuts again. Has to get rearranged, and this puck's going to go way out of play. And we'll get a stoppage of time. Still an unbelievable ending in the contest earlier on Fans Only Sports Network as the Bishop Hendricken Hawks were defeated by a score of 5-2 by the Warwick Koroff unit. This shot bouncing off of Maloney. And of course Warwick, they've been a team that's been very interesting. Bradley, top shelf score, glove side, he'll dab on top of that. And that increases the deficit now to 5-1.
I think they just Steph Curry'd this game.
They really did.
I mean, it's a 4-goal lead, 5 minutes left. I'm going to pull a line from our old friend Ryan Miller, who used to say, they got to score a goal a minute now to try to come back into this one. But, you know, LaSalle is just lethal. And it really shows Moses Brown, good team, but they've got to have all their pieces of the puzzle, and they're losing 2 right now. They're missing 2 big pieces.
This puck scampers off into the far side corner. Coming around back to the near side. Trying to skate the puck through, and that'll be Marabello. Bradley trying to replicate it again. He's already got 2 goals on the night. And cutting around the backside. Martinelli giving it off to Bradley. And that puck, I guess they're going to say, across the blue line. And we'll get an offside.
Yeah, so Drew Bradley picks up 2 goals tonight, puts him out to 5 on the season, and increases his team lead so far. Ronan Peterson has 2. Martinelli has 2. But Drew Bradley, just what a day for the junior.
Absolutely, Drew Bradley. Just an excellent performance all around. He was part of the unit last year. He was on the second line of players to come out for this Rams unit. And all of those lines that the Rams had last season, their first and second and third, were just all great forces. And it proves again how strong they are. This one cut back to center, delayed penalty called. And we'll get an icing call and the penalty. And it's going to go against the 4 of Paul Bogosian. Didn't get to see exactly.
Go in the box,
yeah, he will go in the box.
Go in the box,
Score 5-1. And the Quakers have an opportunity to get a goal. But if they want to start some sort of rally, it's got to come pretty quickly. Bethune Down to Carosi. It bounces off the skates of a Rams defender, and it'll come back to center. Healy trying to escape with it, as he had a breakaway goal earlier in this one. And it's poked into the zone by Travers. Mora playing keep away to kill off some of this clock. And cut back across ice. Carosi sending one down, and it'll come back to the near. Wrapped around the near side boards by Ferteschi. O'Farrell over to Mamdani. Mamdani cutting into the zone. In the corner. Has Mora shadowing him, and he'll wrap it around to the near to Travers. Still no shots on net on this power play, as they're just taking their time to really figure it out. O'Farrell takes a chance. Off the rebound, couldn't be taken. Bethune in the far side corner. Bethune opts to set up a one-timer to Mamdani that's whiffed on. Behind the back of Carosi, and Ferteschi does his diligence, clearing it back to center. Healy trying to outskate everyone, and Bethune fortunately comes up with it for the Quakers with only 35 seconds to go on this power play. And they've only had, I believe, about 2 or 3 shots on goal in this entire sequence. Coming back to center, Mamdani to dump it in. Garfalu tries to wrap it around, couldn't get a lot of extension on it. Sacrilades allowing Mamdani to gain something, and Garneau, Georgian, the puck was still in play, so surprised that the refs blew the play dead. And 11 seconds to go with 2:17 in regulation.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that always gets consternation is when you think that you see the puck still live, still in play. The rule as it goes in hockey is if the referee at any time on a play in front of the net in the blue paint area loses complete sight of the puck, they blow the play dead immediately. The puck may pop out and you might happen to see it or whatever, but if the referee loses the puck in the blue paint area, loses sight of the puck, they blow the play dead.
Wrapped around to the top of the zone to Travers. He tries to keep it onside, and he will. Good poke for Garneau. Garneau trying to get it across for Mamdani, and he'll scamper behind the net. That time it was the 10 of Justin Baxter. Baxter back out on the ice. And another delayed penalty with 1:55 as the power play expires.
There's going to be multiple penalties that are actually going to get assessed, and that's going to be it for the game for those players because there's 1:55 left. But it looks like there's going to be the 14 of Moses Brown headed to the box and the 15 of LaSalle headed to the box, and so they'll sit for the remainder of the game.
So for LaSalle, Marcelo Martinelli, and for the Quakers, the 14 of Maxwell Travers will sit out for the remaining 1:55 left in regulation. Rams from start to finish, at least in that first period, it was a back and forth, a nice little dance that we saw these two teams put on with each other. But then after a while, that tango really became a one-way street as the Rams just put their foot down and just never let off that gas pedal.
Yeah, a little bit of shadow boxing in the first period, trying to figure out, what are you going to do, and some really good defensive and back-checking play. But then, of course, like we said, we mentioned this a couple times already, Moses Brown losing Agarwal, losing Baxter. That put a little bit of a hole in your game plan and what you do. Those are two very key plays for them, and you can see the game sort of unraveled a little bit from that point, and it just kind of continued to go because LaSalle was able to exploit places that were really good for Moses Brown.
And luckily, that shot from O'Farrell bouncing off the pads, but and the 10 of Justin Baxter actually back out on the ice for Moses Brown. So definitely a great sign to see him as he gets it here. Baxter sends this one to the right of Georgian. Ferteschi cuts it around to the near side to McIntyre.
Yeah, he was off for a good 8-9 minutes before he came back on the ice now.
And he looks pretty good skating around out there right now. And now cutting back to the inside. Bradley, very surprised that wasn't called offsides. And this one, did it sneak across? They're going to call it a good goal. Give it to the 18 of Connor Pacheco. And the Rams just keep adding on to this mess. Score now 6-1. Not much to say, Matt, besides one word for me, and that's just dominance.
Yeah, complete dominance by LaSalle, really showing why they're the undefeated team, why they're the top team in the standings, top team in the power rankings, and I don't know. Does LaSalle do it again this year, but do they do it one better this year?
They had the perfect regular season record last year, but were not able to cap it off. Looking to replicate that, it's off to a good start as they'll move to 3-0 after tonight in the league. Bringing it up ice now is Matt Franco as it's dumped into the zone under a minute to go in this one. Score 6-1. The Rams have just really made this game their own. And they're still trying to add it on. Gunnar London across ice and back at center that time as it's passed off from Tomka, and Mora that time to Bogosian. Bounced off of Maloney, back to the near side board. Behind the net, cutting back in. Checked into the boards. Trying to set it up in front, and a big time save. London intercepted by Natali, back on the near side. Back to center, Mora with the dump in. Bounced off the pads. And little to no time left in this one as Bogosian bounces off the defender. And Travers trying to get something there, but that'll do it. The buzzer sounds. Your final, 6-1. The LaSalle Academy Rams defeat the Moses Brown Quakers in an absolute blowout. It was not the full story from start to finish, but come the start of the second period, the Rams started to pave their mark forward and never looked back.
Yeah, it definitely was a game in which we really saw the Rams come out in that second and third period, start playing a little bit more LaSalle hockey, a little bit more technical game, got away from the physicality that we saw, a lot of that bumping and grinding in the first period. Saw them start to go into more technical hockey in the second and third. Came out for them. Drew Bradley, I think, really my player of the game again. What is this kid not going to do this year?
He's proved it in this one. He could line up on the defense, he could line up on the wing, and he could also line up in the center. He got a couple of goals tonight, and the Rams will celebrate as they move to the top of Division I hockey here in the state of Rhode Island, sitting at 3-0. Bishop Hendricken toppled off tonight at that spot after losing to Warwick. The standings have all been shifted, and this crazy Rhode Island hockey season continues as time goes on, but that is all for us tonight. Thank you all for tuning into Fans Only Sports broadcast here between the LaSalle Academy Rams and the Moses Brown Quakers. Alden Doris on camera, Matt Jolis, I'm Chris E2. We'll catch you on the next one.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy
we'll see
New
you
Year.
In 2023. This is our last broadcast until after New Year's Day. So
wow,
we'll see y'all in 2023.
You all have a great Happy New Year from our Fans Only Sports Network family to yours. We'll see you in 2023. Have a great night.